Good evening everybody, welcome to a rerun of my I Ain't Been Shot Mum mini scenario campaign, which I hope to flesh out even more over the coming weeks and months. Today I took the position of the Brits and Warren took the Germans. Warren hasn't played I Ain't Been Shot Mum that much, but he's familiar with some of the concepts from Chain of Command, and he was a sterling opponent, and it was a really tough game. The Brits have had a real struggle, mainly due to the fact that when I did my support points, which is I've mentioned before has been borrowed from Chain of Command, I chose a mortar battery, a troop of Churchill tanks, and basically another platoon, in the hope of pummeling the Germans and putting pressure on them and commit the reserves and then make a dash for it. The Germans put in a pack front of 3 pack 40s and some more MGs, MG42s. Unfortunately, my artillery were pretty well bloody awful. We were planning on zeroing on this orchard here. And yeah, we did hit it. And it looks all messy at the moment, but that's only because it's taken sustained fire from the Churchills and various infantry. The Germans put up a hell of a defence, and the artillery was bloody useless, to put it frankly. Total waste of support points, and the bloke in charge is in serious trouble when I get back to O Group and have a chat with him. On this side you can see there's still a blind on the table, which is highly unusual for a game that has been going on so long, but I committed it late. It is actually my reserve platoon, and they are moving up towards the village, you can see, which has now at least been partially cleared by all the action from the British platoon that was in this wood. Unfortunately, the Germans are still in the orchard across the road, and they're still in the rest of the village. So this is going to get rather tasty, as these guys came off the blind next turn, I hope, and with some support from 2 surviving Churchill tanks. You'll notice that one of the Churchills has been abandoned. It actually had the big man in it. After taking sustained pack 40 hits, the crew decided they had enough and got the hell out of Dodge. Not a great glorious day for the support, but yeah, that's what happens. So overall, once again, a cracking game where the German front line held, although they did take a hell of a hammering in men. They did actually lose quite a few. The Brits were grinding them down, and I would have hoped to have made a few inroads later on in the game. But it's extremely tough for the Brits to get in here. Even with, they had, I think, 15 support points versus the Germans 7. So I need to look at that a little bit more, because it seems that at the moment the attackers are not really getting full benefit of the support points. They may have to have a more standard higher level to begin with, and the variable we added on top. At the moment we've got a starting of 6 points for the Germans, 6 points for the British, 3 points for the Germans, and then it's half whatever the British roll. So yeah, still ongoing, but I still think it's a great set of rules, as you'll know, and the scenario is pretty solid. Hoping to count up the dead and wounded and play the second scenario, which will basically move the whole front line down to here, and this will be where the village will be sitting, and the British will be pushing on through the village with a brand new company, again stolen from Chain of Command unashamedly, and the Germans will have what they have now, plus any guys coming back into the ranks. So their position will get tougher and tougher to hold the line. Yes, of course, the Germans will probably crack in the end, but it's just how badly they maul the British in their attempts to take the village and drive on along the main road. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, my wittering on here. I will try and get better and learn from the masters like Alex and people like that about how to give a game report. But still a work in progress, but hopefully you enjoyed looking at the terrain and looking at how the game's set up. Take care.